Just to touch on it a little bit, we had talked in our first discussion about the series that I did with Carson Hill, and the last episode that we did was when he released his Numa macro, which I'll be making up the numbers, but it's capable of something like nearly twice the millinewton meters of torque as the standard. So what is that? So I can feel the difference. I own the machine and I run it I'm lining at like 5.2 volts, and I move my hand kind of slow anyways, and it's punchy. It gets in there. I feel it. It's meaty feeling. So is that just simply the number of like kind of wraps? And what fundamentally makes a one motor more torquey than another? Is
we see that we have things like the nominal voltage of the motor. This one's 6, this one's 12, this one's 24. So I can get this motor to run in 6, 12, or 24 volts.
Okay.
Of that, here's the efficiency of each of those columns, the terminal resistance, and you notice that's one thing that's going to change. A lot of these numbers are going to stay relatively the same between each motor. The terminal resistance is going to change because our nominal voltage is changing. So we have to have more resistance on these higher voltages to dissipate, so it doesn't act as much of a load. But ultimately, a lot of what you're asking about, what makes one different, and the punchy feeling is going to come down to, it's not the reciprocation rate or how much, I guess, power the needle has behind it, because the motor can only pull as much power as you demand from it. If you hook up a 100-watt power supply into a 5-watt motor, the 5-watt motor is only going to be able to drive 5 watts. It's not going to draw the full 100-watt load. So the punchier, the higher motors is going to be potentially better depending on what the mechanism. This all comes down to the machine engineering and design and how efficient the mechanism is that's in there, because there's always going to be losses when you have bearings and other mechanisms put between the motor and the needle.